I did drama school for 3 years, and then came out and was an actor. So it's quite a long process, really. Eventually, by the time I'd come out and was at drama school, I'd probably done about 45, 50 plays, one kind or another, amateur or one way or another. So it's like we're constantly building it up. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you didn't go like straight to drama?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was doing a lot of academic stuff at the same time, although that's where my love was and my passion was and where I wanted to express it all.
Okay. Like during your university life, what has influenced your understanding of acting or the way it
Watching other people do it. There's nothing more than that. Watching other people do it. Watching people do it the way they affected me, different styles. I'm not really someone who was influenced by acting by particular teachers, although they have had an impact, directors have had an impact. But primarily, just watching what broke my heart open on screen and on theatre and seeing as much as I possibly could. And letting my heart be broken by other people and then working out how to do that myself.
So was you, when you said when you graduated from drama school, you done more than 40?
Yeah, lots and lots of plays. Yeah.
So had it become your profession before you graduated?
No, I never thought of it as a profession. Like I said, it was the idea of making a career from it was completely secondary to the idea of just doing it and expressing myself and it's a weird one because you don't necessarily express yourself as an actor. You're supposed to serve the text, but there's always something in that text that you want to say about yourself. And that's why, when I'm teaching, if I see anybody kind of swaggering or trying to look good, it's not anything to do with acting. Acting to do is just contacting something really personal in there and bringing it out with the appropriate technique so as it's not just and you have, if you can't access that, you've got no business being an actor. That's where it is. And if you can access that, you're going to be wanting to watch as much and as many people as you possibly can. It wasn't professional. Wasn't my thought. It was really coming out of university. I just thought I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it, and this was the only way to keep doing it, was to do it for a living. I wasn't ready to give it up.
You said about accessing this is something that's how did you personally?
I don't know is the answer. I don't know. It's not a process that I could do any other way. It's sometimes you have a lot of emotions in life and you just feel quite raw, and it's hard because you're wandering around and most people seem to be chit-chatting or talking idly or conversationally, and actually what you want to do is pull it out, and it seemed to be a place where it was appropriate to bring out extreme emotions, and I don't really know how. The difference is, to put it this way, it was harder for me to suppress them than it was to access them. And I think that's the key of a lot of people who act, is that it's easier to act than it is to not act. That makes sense.
So what happened after you graduated? Did you got any jobs?
Hang on. I'm the flat white and the last day's over there. So after I graduated Cambridge, I did a lot of letter writing because the first job is always the hardest to get. And I didn't really know. I wrote to everybody I could. I got a job in the educational department of a small theatre company, and I did that for a while. Earning not very much money at all. Trying to supplement it with other jobs. Bits here and there. Wasn't really going anywhere. Did bits of small fringe theatre. Then I came out of drama school and I got an agent, and I went straight. I was lucky enough to, my first job was a job with the Birmingham Rep in Hamlet and Twelfth Night, understudying and playing very small parts. And I had a really good run early on. I went from there to there was a few months gap, then I was a company called Shared Experience doing a passage to India, then I went to the Royal Shakespeare Company for a year, and then it was going very, very well. Then I came out and I think I did a show at the Tricycle, which went to the West End for the summer, and then I did a show at Sheffield, and then, thank you very much, And then my dad died, and I took a lot of time off because I just couldn't face it working. And then it took a while to come back from that. But I've been lucky. There've been periods of nothing. Recently, the last few years, there've been periods of nothing. And it's quite hard to make it happen when there are periods of nothing. But like anything else, I think it's such a... You never know when and how you're building, and particularly in your 20s, you think that you're doing a whole load of nothing that's going nowhere, but actually you're always, always, always building. Every person you meet, every connection you make, you're building, and don't think of them for that job, but for the job 10 jobs down the line. But it can be really frustrating because you've got all that pent-up energy and creativity and aggression, and you just want to, all you want to do is express it, and you can't, you're not getting the opportunities. It's a really frustrating time, the 20s, I think, really frustrating. And, yeah.
I didn't know you was playing in bicycle. Was you doing...
Yeah, I did a play called Guantanamo, Honor Bound to Defend Freedom, and it was one of their verbatim plays about the Guantanamo, case, and we did it in the West End as well. I'm really proud of it. It was a really good piece of work, and yeah, great too. Yeah.
So how did you choose the direction for yourself after finishing drama school?
You don't is the answer. You
So
don't.
you just
Yeah.
pick
One of the
this
big
path.
myths about actors is that even top actors, they ask them, "What drew you to this part?" And in the interview, they say, "Well, I liked it because it was this, this, and this." The truth is, it's always pretty much the only offer on the table. Unless you're right at the very top of the profession, you don't really get to choose. There isn't enough work, so you do what comes your way. Some things you say no to because you're trying to get a little bit higher every time. You're trying to build on what you've done, but generally, you get what you're given. So you don't choose a direction chooses you. If that makes sense.
Were there any moments when you was thinking that it's not the thing that you need to do?
All the time, on a yearly basis, and it's not to do with not do. I mean, the thing is, any creative endeavor, whether you're a painter, a sculptor, actor, artist, writer, you have to constantly be interrogating your own desire to do it. Why do I do this? Am I doing this because it was satisfying to me 5 years ago? Because it's quite a tough profession to be in because it's unstable and it's hard to get work. And your relationship to your work always changes. And as you get older, your relationship to who you are always changes, and you're constantly sort of interrogating who you are. So sometimes you go, do I even want to be an actor anymore? Do I want to be something else? Do I want to be this? Do I want to be that? And that's tricky. And then also, sometimes you don't get work, and you've sat there, and it's been like months till you go, what am I doing with my life? I'm 35, 36, no work, building up debt. Should I maybe do something else? Could I be happy doing something else? And that can really take over as well, that stuff. So, it's a kind of thank you. It's a kind of unstable. It's not safe, And people sort of think. I meet people all the time when I'm a teacher who are basically not cut out for it because they're not cut out for the temperament of being in more or less constant turmoil, which is what you kind of need to be an actor. Even if you're Daniel Day-Lewis and you've won 3 Oscars, you need to be in constant turmoil about what you do and how you do it. And questioning, is this any good? And pushing yourself. You can never start to churn out the same old shit, So I'm always asking myself, is this what I want to be doing? Is this what I should be doing? Then what is it that I want to be doing? It's very hard to find what works for you. It's much like a relationship, I think. You get into it, you're all in love, and then after about a year or two, you're just constantly asking, this person? Do I want to be with this person? Do I? Is this right for me? Is this not? And you've got to constantly be doing that to make it valid. You can't. An excuse for being with someone is not, but I've been with them for several years. That's not enough. It'll burn your house to the ground. So I think it's the same thing,